And joining us now, the head men's basketball coach at Memphis, Josh Pastner. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you again.
First news, new baby in the family.
New baby in the family. I got my second daughter. Blessed my wife to be able to handle that. And the good thing is the first daughter that we had right during that time, we got a recruit committed to us, and so Adonis Thomas. In fact, I was recruiting in the delivery room. And this
so
time,
you didn't name your daughter Adonis?
No, but I did.
Okay.
But I was making calls, and I did the same thing this time around too. So if we can keep being successful during the delivery process, I'll keep having kids. So whatever it takes to win a national championship.
There you go. Let's talk about your team, because this is the first team in my memory that you've had in the previous years that actually has experience.
Yeah. No, you're right, Ron. I mean, my first 3 years we've had good teams, but they've been young. They've been very young. This year, going to my fourth year, this will be the first time since I've been the head coach that we'll have an older team. I mean, we'll be dominated by juniors, but those guys have played major minutes in major games and key games, been part of teams that have been back-to-back NCAA tournaments. So I'm excited about that. That doesn't guarantee you any wins or anything, but it just puts you in a spot where they understand what's needed to be to get the job done.
One of the players that stood out to me last year, and he kind of came on as a defensive guy, but we watched him mature throughout the year, as Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
What does he have to do to step up his game?
Well, I think the big thing for Joe is Joe needs to be from point A to point B of the season, from start to finish. He needs to be at a high level. Again, people forget he has been back-to-back MVPs of the conference tournament, the first time ever in the history of that, and that's not easy to do, as you know. I mean, that's not easy to do. I think he could be the fastest guard in the country from north to south. And Ron, the big thing for Joe is he can affect the game without ever scoring a point.
Right.
Just on the defensive end, and that's where the mentality switched for him, and he understands that he needs to get his offense through defense, not vice versa. But he's had a really good 2 years. I think he's going to have a really good year this upcoming year.
And when in doubt, I think what impressed all of us that called your games last year is the play of Tarek Black. He seems like he was the mainstay. You're going to count on him to be the physical presence you need and also score inside. Yeah,
Tarek actually shattered our Memphis Tiger field goal percentage leader all time. He shot about 70% last year, which broke the record. On top of that, the big thing for Tarek, Ron, he's got to stay out of foul trouble.
Right.
He's got to make his free throws, and he's got to be a better defensive rebounder. Now, I'm nitpicking at him because there's a lot of good about him, but those are the areas that we've talked about that he needs to focus to continue to get better.
Your bar is high now at Memphis.
It's always been high.
It's always been
17,000. Yeah,
right.
I mean, my record, we've lost 29 games in my time that I've been at the University of Memphis as a head coach, and they've wanted me fired 29 times. So it's a high bar no matter what.
Well, one of the games, I think it was UTEP last year, it seemed like you know, when you had them at home, and it was a game that you had them and you let it go. Are those the kind of games that you have to put people away in order to get to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I really do. I mean, I just think that, for us to continue to move forward, we've got to make sure that we continue to take care of business when we need to take care of business. Right. But when you have someone down, you've got to put them away. And I think that also comes with maturity and experience, and that's what we'll have this year. So we understand that we've got to do a better job in some of those areas and with that.
Now, you're closing in on 100 wins, and every coach will tell me, and I'll tell you what he's going to say. It won't mean anything till after I retire. But it has to be special for you, considering, like you just said, people.
Well, here's the thing: is I recognize every win we get is the players. I haven't ever scored a point. In fact, when I was at Arizona, I was .09 points per game. So, and I shot under 30% from the field because I just jacked it up when I got in the game. So, I recognize this is a players' game, not me. I can put some things together, but we got to continue to get good players and put them on the floor, put them in positions to succeed, and it's on them. It's a players' game.
Now, you mentioned Adonis just a moment ago. Watching him after he had his injury last year, and how this young man was so depressed that he couldn't help the team, and he seemed like the light was starting to come on for him now. Did he have a good summer? And talk about this season.
Yeah, because right before he got injured, Ron, Adonis was taken off. I mean, he was going to have a monster season, a league season. Right. Unfortunately, he got injured, but he's healthy. He looks really good. He's shooting the daylights out of it right now. We're counting on him to have a big year, and not only to be just a scorer. I mean, he's got to rebound for us. He's got to defend. He's got to get assist. deflections. A stat sheet stuffer is what we need him to be,
right.
and the 3 S's, and he has the capabilities of doing that.
Has the light come on? Has the game slowed down
for
him?
The game has slowed down for him. I believe that. The game has slowed down. I'm counting on him in many areas, and I know a lot of people, the naked eye just sees points,
right.
but we need him in so many other areas, especially on the glass. You know, we lost Will Barton last year, who averaged 9 rebounds a game, so Adonis can be a guy that can pick that up and fill that void.
Now, it's obviously very, very early in the season, but we've mentioned the key players. But who's the player that might be the surprise this year or that has to step up?
You know, I'm really counting on a few of our guys, but I'd really like to see Chris Crawford, who I think is very, very talented, put together a consistent year from start, again, kind of like Joe, but from start to finish and really be at a high level because, again, he has the capabilities of doing that. He can shoot the ball. He's got a great feel for the game. So I'm anxious to see Chris in that area.
And the one area, just from a team standpoint, you have to improve on. Because you look at your numbers, your defensive field goal percentage was outstanding.
Yep.
Rebounding was good.
You know, I think, you know, we're actually the only team in the country that was top 10 in field goal percentage defense and offense. So we did some good things in that area. I would say for us, the biggest thing is we've got to be a better offensive rebounding team. We have to be a better offensive rebounding team because, like you said, there are times when we're not going to shoot the ball or we're playing a team that's kind of junked it up and slowed the game down because they want to slow it against us because of our speed. The best way to get extra possessions and extra points is in offensive rebounding, and we need to be able to take the physicality and be able to do that.
One final question. What have you learned in the time as a coach, and how have you changed as a coach? Because you and I have had talks about, you know, how you handle your practice and the way you treat your players on the court.
You know, I don't think I mean, obviously I'm a better coach today than I was from day one. There is no manual. You learn as you go. The amount of responsibility is enormous and when you're a head coach at this level. But how much I've changed, I mean, I've continued to get better, but I've never lost sight of the fact that, hey, bottom line is you've got to get the best student athletes that you can get, and from there you put them in positions to succeed. I mean, I've seen some great coaches out there who maybe don't have the great players and not able to win, and some other guys who I've seen, I've said, hey, it's pretty simple and it's not complicated, but they got great players, and that's why you're able to win the games. December
15th, obviously, is a game that everybody's going to have circled. The place is going to be rocking, obviously, when you play Louisville.
Yeah.
Your schedule this season?
We got a very tough schedule again. We're always going to schedule tough. We got a very tough non-conference schedule, and then obviously I'm a big proponent for the league. I'm a big believer in this league. I knock on every door, every chair, anything that you can think of, you know, promoting the league and saying that this is a very, very good basketball league, and it doesn't get the respect it deserves. And everyone's talking about us going to the Big East the following year. I've told everyone, they're like, oh, that's such a big deal. I said, wait a second. We're not going to the Western Conference of the NBA and playing the Lakers.
That's
for crying out loud. The Big East is not that much different from Conference USA. There are so many great coaches in this league and players, but again, the league doesn't get the respect it deserves. So I want to keep pounding on the tables, and when we talk, when you come do our games, I'll be doing the same thing.
There we go. We'll see you on December 15th.
Absolutely.
Josh Pastner of Memphis, the head basketball coach.